Not all anomalies are hostile in nature, and many entries can even help the SCP agency in its quest to preserve mankind. In this episode of our Exploring series, we present you 5 of the most useful SCPs in the Foundation. Number 5. SCP-038 Object Class Safe. SCP-038 is, on first glance, a common apple tree found on an abandoned farm in New York. However, upon closer inspection, it became apparent that SCP-038 was growing things other than apples, and, in fact, other than fruit. SCP-038 has the ability to clone any object that touches its bark. Objects begin growing almost instantaneously and reach maturity within a matter of minutes. A weight limit of 90.9 kilograms or 200 pounds per object has been previously recorded. Objects that SCP-038 has thus far cloned include food such as oranges, watermelons, and candy bars, physical objects such as televisions and laptops, and even living subjects such as cats, dogs, and humans. Human and animal cloning through SCP-038 is not recommended, as they appear to age quickly. The majority of these clones live, on average, only 2 weeks. After examination of the deceased clones, it has been determined that they had begun to ferment before dying. It has also been noted that SCP-038 is capable of cloning SCP-500. However, such pills only work 30% of the time, with chance of successful healing further decreasing as more time since the cloning passes. In 60% of the cases where the infection is permanent, symptoms of infection remain, though further infection is neutralized. Cloning of SCP-173 has also been attempted, though as expected, the growth halted at the 200-pound limit. In this case, after replication of the head, right arm, and partial upper torso. Class D subject was ordered to break eye contact with the clone, but no movement was observed. However, during storage, it was in fact making violent movements, though at a dramatically slower rate. Movement was also shown to continue regardless of state of observation. Unsurprisingly, the usage of SCP-038 is heavily limited, and personnel are not allowed to use it to copy mundane items. However, Foundation critical items with permission from Level 4 researchers can, and merely the fact that it can be used to copy SCP-500, the best healing solution in the world, makes SCP-038 one of the top 5 useful SCPs in the Foundation. Number 4. SCP-005 Object Class Safe. SCP-005 appears to be an ornate key, similar in appearance and characteristics of a typical 1920s mass-produced key. The anomaly was discovered when a civilian used it to infiltrate a high-security facility. As the subject was terminated immediately, it remains entirely unknown where and how the key was originally acquired. SCP-005 seems to have the unique ability to open any and all forms of locks, be they mechanical or digital. Despite many tests and research, the origin of this ability has not yet been determined. While SCP-005 has been shown to be very effective in removing almost any form of locking device, further experiments have shown that efforts to disguise the purpose or identity of a lock have proven to be somewhat successful in defeating SCP-005's ability. In approximately 50% of cases where a volunteer was not able to identify a locking device as such, SCP-005 was not successful in defeating the device. Due to these results, SCP-005 has been tentatively classified as sentient, and further tests are being run to determine whether it has some form of cognitive abilities. The SCP Foundation is unsurprisingly very careful when and where SCP-005 is used, and limits its use from personnel heavily. For example, it may be used as a replacement for lost security passes, but only under the supervision of at least one Level 4 personnel. It comes as no surprise that the usage of SCP-005 for vending machine repairs, opening lockers, or for any personnel's spare home key is strictly forbidden. Despite its limited usage, SCP-005 could very well prove useful in opening other anomalies which possess some sort of locking mechanism, which makes SCP-005 one of the top 5 most useful SCPs. Number 3. SCP-914. Object Class: Safe. SCP-914 is a large clockwork device weighing several tons, consisting of gears, belts, pulleys, and other clockwork. It is incredibly complex, consisting of over 8 million parts. 2 large boots are connected via tubes to the main body of SCP-914, labeled Intake and Output. Between them is a copper panel on which the words Rough, Coarse, 1-to-1, Fine, and Very Fine are positioned around a knob. Below the knob is a large key that winds the mainspring of the clockwork mechanism. When an object is placed in the intake boot, the door slides shut and a small bell sounds. If the knob is turned to any position and the key wound up, SCP-914 will upgrade or downgrade the object depending on the setting. Despite extensive observation and testing, it is still entirely unknown how SCP-914 accomplishes this. An example of objects ran through SCP-914 include 1 kilogram of steel turned into a kilogram of steel chunks on the rough setting. A watch was disassembled when coarse was selected, and on 1-to-1, a smartphone was turned into an equivalent device of another make. On the very fine setting, 1 kilogram of steel was turned into 1 gram of an unknown metal, resistant to heat of 50,000 degrees and impossible to bend or break with any force. And again, on very fine, a revolver was turned into a weapon which completely disintegrated all matter in its line of fire. Testing has also been done with biological subjects, including humans. On the rough setting, a chimp was turned into a badly mutilated corpse. On the 1-to-1 setting, a D-Class was turned into a different individual who exited very confused and agitated, attacking the security personnel, and on the very fine setting, a D-Class exited with an apparent boost in physical power and speed, and proceeded to kill 8 guards as well as 2 doctors. Although SCP-914 does not change items in a predictable way, and sometimes functions very chaotically, it could potentially be used to destroy unwanted SCP anomalies on the lower settings, and some of its very fine outputs have been very interesting and research-worthy to say the least, which makes SCP-914 one of the top useful SCPs in our list. Number 2. SCP-1689. Object Class: Safe. SCP-1689 is a bag made of roughly woven jute containing potatoes. In its stable state, SCP-1689 weighs 40 to 50 kilograms and contains approximately 200 common agricultural potatoes. However, the interior of SCP-1689 appears to be vastly larger than its exterior and is designated SCP-1689-A. SCP-1689-A is a large extra-dimensional space of undetermined volume, measured to be at least 10,000 square meters, but believed to be much greater, completely filled with potatoes. Exploration of SCP-1689-A is largely incomplete due to the high degree of obstruction. SCP-1689 was originally recovered from Krysovo, a small village of approximately 200 people in northern Siberia. A Russian official reported that Krysovo had made no outside contact in 4 decades and had no surrounding farmland. The reports were subsequently investigated by the Foundation, at which point it was discovered that the village had been using SCP-1689 as its sole food source for well over a century. No one in the village was able to recall how they had come into possession of SCP-1689, only that it had been there since before the Reds and that it was a gift for working hard. When portions of SCP-1689-A are empty, nearby potatoes experience an anomalous form of growth characterized by tumor-like bulges emerging and eventually splitting into fully sized independent potatoes. The rate of growth is estimated to be exponential, with a doubling period of approximately 2 hours. This effect also applies to normal potatoes introduced to SCP-1689, as well as similar edible tubers or roots such as yams and sweet potatoes. Due to SCP-094, should we not leave Earth in the next 700 years, we face extinction, but becoming an interplanetary species poses many great challenges, one of which is having food on a long mission. This is why SCP-1689 could at some point prove to be the most helpful SCP for all humanity. Number 1. SCP-2000. Object Class: Thaumiel. SCP-2000, perhaps the most beneficial SCP in the whole Foundation, is a subterranean facility constructed in the event that an end-of-the-world scenario cannot be averted in time to prevent humanity's extinction. Since being created, SCP-2000 has been activated at least twice. Foundation records regarding SCP-2000's construction and history prior to this assumed first use have since been lost. Primary power for the facility is a liquid fluoride thorium reactor rated for 1 gigawatt total output with a reactor life of 70 years at maximum capacity. A geothermal generator has also been installed, capable of powering the facility in standby mode indefinitely. SCP-2000 also contains water treatment facilities, air purification, and housing necessary to permanently sustain up to 10,000 personnel. To fulfill its primary mission, SCP-2000 includes 500,000 bright Zartian hominid replicators. At peak capacity, SCP-2000 is capable of producing 100,000 humans per day. Humans produced by this process can be advanced to any age desired without extending the incubation period. The system also has the ability to implant memories in the newly created humans. After a K-class scenario, SCP-2000's security systems will unlock, allowing any Foundation employee to start the procedure. If, after 20 years, SCP-2000 remains inactive, security will be relaxed further, allowing any human to access the facility and initiate the procedure. Once activated, SCP-2000 will attempt to locate all personnel of Level 4 clearance. Mission-critical personnel not found will be replicated using the most recent information on file. Procedure Lazarus-01 will begin when an authorized Level 5 Foundation employee inputs the desired resume date. Available units will then begin production of political and cultural leaders of the time period using genetic information, as well as replication of global population consistent with the chosen time period. A wide cultural base with copies of thousands of famous works of art, music, literature, and a full backup of the World Wide Web are also kept on site. It is estimated that the world population, manufacturing capability, agricultural production, and culture can be reset to that of year 2000 in less than 50 years after the procedure is implemented. At the conclusion of Procedure Lazarus-01, an amnestic agent will be released on a massive scale, causing all reconstructed humans to forget the event, after which history will essentially resume from the chosen date. When SCP-2000 was built, how many times has it been used, and how life would look if it didn't exist? These are all questions that even the O5 Council probably cannot answer. However, one thing is certain: SCP-2000 has saved humanity from extinction on more than one occasion, thus easily topping our list of the top 5 useful SCP creatures. This concludes our list of the top 5 most beneficial SCPs. So what was, in your opinion, the most useful SCP from our list? Are there any good SCPs that you think we should have included? Make sure to share your most helpful SCPs in the comments below. Please make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, as we have many interesting videos coming up in which we will be exploring the SCP Foundation lore, such as alternate reality SCPs, software SCPs, SCPs that are impossible to contain, and much more. And as always, we will see you in the next video.